Hello there, fellow base builders. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers. Episode 15, Improving Our Printers and Making a Beacon. Alright, so this printer I'm not going to use very often, so I'm going to not align it with the window like I did the other ones. Because you don't use your tool printer frequently unless you're like breaking your tools in suit, which, like, don't do that. And you won't need to replace it. But what we will need to do is to deconstruct the auto lathe and the electronics printer and the hydraulic pipe bender to put them where they need to be. Which is back. I'm going to wait for this to finish. And nothing's lost. I'm just disassembling and moving. Because my base is larger now than it was before. And I might as well take advantage of that lovely extra space. What is the last phase of removal? Screwdriver? No, it's definitely not a water cutter. Angle grinder. Oh, nope, not that. Wrench. Whee! Splat. Okay. So the auto lathe, we'll put here so that the things aren't spitting against the wall. I could add a stacker, but, like, whatever. It doesn't bother me. The electronics printer. Maybe here. And then the pipe bender. Oh, wrong one. Yeah. Yeah. This is that's laid out a bit better. I'm gonna need to make the auto lathe first so I can make the plastic sheets and for that one, because I don't have extra plastic sheets. Oh, iron sheets first. Yep.
Temperature high.
No. I mean, it's hotter. It's 27 Celsius. But I think it was just localized because of the welder, which maybe I replaced this gas welder with an arc welder. Hey, Dr. Catatonic, thank you for the resub and the cheer. I'll drink to that. Thank you. Right, next installation step is cable coils. Yeah, that temperature high warning was like, what the hell? Alright, then it's plastic with the welder I don't want to use.
Temperature high. Temperature high.
It's like actually burning me. Okay. Yeah, definitely that is to be replaced. Absolutely. Alright. Electronic printer mod. And where is the... yeah, there it is. Pipe bender mod. Cool. Now we just need to hook up the power. Don't kill my plants with the heat. It was just a local... It was just the welder was hot while I was standing there. If I had my suit on, it wouldn't have screamed at me. So... I know it's a little bit hotter in the base now, and I should probably consider air conditioning. But, I could also do water conditioning. Maybe that's a good way to cool down my base, because I did set up my turbo pumps for water to be able to do that. Or alternatively, I could just simply melt some oxides. So like half a stack of oxide here, and just like melt into the base. It will pressurize, but because the ices are cold, it will cool down the base. It's a cheap and easy way to do it when you're not over pressurized. So as you can see, the base has already went down a degree or two. Bunch of different ways to solve the problem, and I'm going to solve it in the lamest way possible, which is melt some ice. Okay, I need 2 plastic sheets. And 2 iron sheets for the production of this here. Okay, I'm just making sure it doesn't clip out the back. And then, once this is installed, it could be, very well be, the last time I use my welder that is gas-powered, which was the culprit for the heat. It added so much more heat than I thought it should or would, so that was a little jarring. Oh, and catatonic, thank you for even another cheer. I don't know why the time remaining isn't moving, but if you're trying to move it, don't worry about it. I'll keep going. It's a third-party tool that is fussy at best.
Temperature high.
I like jumped backwards to avoid the heat. Okay, so we've got... So this is the... wrench? No, welding again. Ugh. I'm almost done with the welder.
Temperature high.
Yeah, wow, that welder really is cooking the base. Be happy to throw that thing away. Also, I don't know if it's true anymore, but like, once upon a time when I was playing, the welding tool had a non-zero chance of like kind of low-key exploding. The gas one, which was sketchy. Maybe they fixed that, but like, I have a mistrust of gas welders as a result of that once upon a time bug. So gas welders scare me. Because, yeah, having little bombs that you strap to your belt, like, doesn't feel so great. So the first tool I want, pretty obvious. Let's get rid of the welder tool, and I can put this in the box outside. The old one. The old one is pretty low on gas anyway, but so there is a arc welder and a arc welder Mark II that use electricity and not like a traditional welding torch. Let's go grab our Invar. Oop. Well, yeah, that messed with that, didn't it? I'll leave that alone. And make one of these bad boys. Too bad you can't break down tools. You actually can. You can, I can build a recycler if I want. We got another potato. And it's, lasts longer in non-cooked form than cooked form, so I'm just not gonna cook it. I'll have one cooked at a time. Alright, so here's our lovely arc welder. Does not have a battery, though. So let's get a battery for it, which is going to be printed on the electronics printer. And for now, we'll just feed this thing the large battery. There we go. So that's one tool down. Another significant one would be a mining tool. So this old one is going outside. I think they mostly explode on hot planets, by the way, when the welder tool tank heats up due to the atmospheric heat, and then explodes. I think that was the cause, if I recall correctly, the original cause of the kabooming welders. So on a vacuum planet like the one, or moon, like the one I'm on, it doesn't pose the same level of risk. And I'm going to conserve a little power here. I'm turning things off that don't need to be on. I wish I could turn that off, but it's on the other side. We have 2 extra potatoes. Maybe we need a refrigerator at some point. Mining drill. Well, actually, before we even bother with the mining drill, let's get another battery. Another large battery, because we're having a bigger mining drill, and I'm almost out of gold. So we're going to need gold first before any of that. But if we want a better mining drill, we might as well power it up with more power. Stands to reason. So this is a spare large battery to be installed in said drill at some point. So if we want the larger mining drill, let's figure out the resources we are going to need for it, because I don't have them memorized. The drill heavy, or the pneumatic, or the mining drill Mark II. I think the drill heavy is the best one, but let's check. You can always refer to here. So the pneumatic one says nothing. The pneumatic one obviously takes a gas canister, so that's like not ideal. I want to avoid using gas if I can help it. Mark II functions equally well in vacuum and atmosphere, and it's resistant to temperature and pressure. That's the other thing, is your tools become more resistant to, like, you know, high temperature and pressures of, like, Venus and Vulcan and stuff like that. Alright, what about the heavy? Not that. One drill heavy. It can literally move mountains. It can remove more ground and mine more ore quickly than the standard drill. Heavy drill is also resilient to temperatures and pressures. So, heavy is the best. Got it. Let's get a heavy drill. You did say improve my tools, and I ain't gonna short you on the details. So, 10 of steel. So I guess we don't even need to mine up gold for this. It doesn't require gold. So here's the mining drill heavy. Perfect. Now there's some other tools that I could improve, but I don't use them enough. So the better angle grinder, the better hand drill, these tools are great if you're doing mega bases and you're doing something huge. I'm not building big, so I don't really need a better drill or better angle grinder, because like mine is fine. Now, there is drill heads that we could consider, but just the fact that I have the heavy drill probably, in my opinion, is like enough. Just heavy, yeah, it's going to make a pretty significant difference as is. The other thing is the old drill that I've got has a battery in it that doesn't need to necessarily be discarded. So what I can do is I can keep my old drill and keep the battery from it, you know, so that I can have a spare battery, right? I don't need to throw out the battery. That doesn't make sense. So let's replace the batteries of the tools I currently have. And then I'll have a spare 100% battery just chilling here if I need it. And here's the heavy drill. That's ready to go. The heavy drill, I can also get a dirt canister for it. And a dirt canister allows you to do, like, terraforming. So basic terraforming. So, let's get one. I could get another mining belt. Yeah. Especially if I want to, like, stockpile ices. For sure. So here's the dirt can. And then there's the Mark II belt, which is going to be better than the one I started with. So the one I started with can be just like ice storage. So opening it up, here's the Mark II belt, which holds more ore. So drag that there. That there. And then my old mining belt, I'm going to put... Oh, that's the tool belt. My old mining belt, I'm going to put in here, so I have some spare ices for atmospherics in my storage here. Because the ices aren't stable. If I just put the ices in the closet, they'll melt. But if I put the ices in the belt in the closet, they're fine. So therein is the difference. So now we have a bigger mining belt, so we can store more stuff. And actually, let's pull the pick out of there too. So there's a potential of like digging yourself into a hole and then running out of like propellant, and somehow you don't have a waste tank. Like there's a tiny chance that like you need your pick, but your pick is just like a manual mining tool that's really, really, really slow. But it can bail you out of a ditch, maybe. I mean, I think the chances of that are really low. Okay, so some other things that we can do. We have, I want my jet suit, so I don't want to switch to a mining backpack. I don't have the materials for a hard suit, which is like more rugged than your standard suit. I don't think, however, it would be a bad idea for me to get like spares of stuff. So in case I die, I am not screwed. There's overalls, which can be pretty cool. Sensor lenses, I don't have an advanced furnace to make the Inconel for the sensor lenses, but that's like glasses that can see different things. So there's 3 different sensors for that, which are made on the electronics printer. One shows you ores, and it's a longer range than the tablet. And also, you don't need to be holding your tablets because it's smart glasses. The other is to show you the like plumbing and electrical systems within your base. A muon, what do they call it? But whatever, it just shows you the plumbing and electrical. If it's hidden away, it will visualize it. And the last one shows you the orbital bodies. So it'll be like, hey, that's Saturn, and then it will point out like where Earth and Mars and the Sun and all that are. So those are the 3 sensors for the sensor lenses. I could get a better tool belt. That would be handy as well. Because I've been fumbling around moving my some of my other tools to empty slots. But now I can just be like, hey, labeler and tablet, you come standard. So gives me a labeler and tablet slot, which is not bad. That will allow me to maybe bring a tracker with me without taking up too much room. Because I think it would be wise, given that, like, I have enough base power at this point. Oh, well, speaking of which, not really. But for me to have a beacon. So that with my tracker and my beacon, I can always find my way back. That way I never am, like, marooned and I don't know where I am. Because that super sucks. Yeah, I would say that that's a pretty good first pass at improved tools. Because the rest of this stuff is, oh, so here's the sensor. Here's the celestial scanner, the ore scanner, and the thermal ray, or whatever, the T-scanner. But this is all, like, advanced wasp alloy that I don't have. I could spray paint things, that's a tool. Terrain manipulator if you want to manipulate your terrain. I think with my last gold, I'm going to make Toy Luna. Because, like, come on now. Of course I am. You are there. You look a little derpy, but, you know, so do I, so whatever. There is a basket. Fire extinguisher, flashlight? If I had gold. I want the flashlight. Oh, Mark II duct tape can be really helpful. It's like better duct tape than your standard duct tape, so I'm gonna upgrade my duct tape. Hopefully I'll never have to use it, but if you have a breach of your suit, if your suit still exists but it's cracked, and your helmet still exists but it's cracked, you can repair it with duct tape. And the better duct tape is has more like uses and durability or whatever. Plant sampler if I want to start doing like mutations for plants, I guess. The tracking beacon is the mobile beacon, but I would really want the installed beacon, not the mobile beacon. So maybe that's the last thing to do, is to do the installed beacon, but I'm sure I'm going to need gold for that. Is the basket what I was asking about earlier, like something that catches and outputs? Oh, that's a stacker. That's the shoot and stacker system. I can set that up if you want, but I would add that to the poll because it's not strictly necessary. It's just like a nice to have. The basket is literally just basketball basket. It's for recreation. You just shoot hoops. You know, you would hang it up here, and I could just like huck basketballs at it. Alright, so beacon. Kit beacon needs 4 gold. Alright, so let's use our newfound mining belt and ore scanner and all that jazz to go... oh, you know what? One thing that's awkward is if my tablet's in here, I'm going to have my tablet on a jumpsuit so it's not nested in my tool belt. So, I can more easily get to my tablet. Because if I'm using my mining kit, then it's actually kind of annoying. So, my tape is in my belt. That is also a bad idea. So I just have a free slot. Unless... No, that doesn't go in. Yeah, I'm just going to have a free slot. The reason is, I want access to the tape and the medical pill, like, in cases of emergency. Because, when you have an emergency, you can't go digging through nested bags and belts, and like, you'll just die. So I'd rather have the slight inconvenience of not having things nested with the convenience of not dying. Alright, so for headed back out, let's put the suit on. And the current priority right now is to build a tracking beacon. Just so that I, like, don't get lost. Also, let's hide the marathon timer, because we don't need it yelling at us that time's up. Air tank's good. Waste tank is a little full. Let's just outgas it here. This is, you know, free CO2. Batteries, I think, are all topped up because I literally... not that one. But I topped up the other one. So we're going to go. Close helmet. And go mining. So we need gold. And also put this welding torch away because it's... I don't want to go boom. In fact, if it goes boom, I want it to blow this up. Not that up. And just in case, move the minimum supply crate over there so it can't do damage. So basically this is my trash that isn't trash. At some point maybe I'll get a recycling setup, but I don't need to do that right now. So question for you guys, what to work on next? I can improve water production automation. I can add solar panels. I could add cooling and heating to the base. I could... Let's see. Add a recycler. And centrifuge. So the way to... If you have things that you don't need anymore, you can put them through a recycler and centrifuge in order to turn them back into their, like, original elements as, like, a recycling. So... Some of this stuff that you see here can be recycled if you care. I could also... No, I'll just do viewer suggestions. So, there you go. Once I have a tracking beacon up, we can take on new tasks. We're looking for bright... I am staring at gold right there. So So I'll just head over to that gold. Who's in the heavy drill? Oh! Oh my god! Watch out, gold! You can't resist! That's great. Pretty significant difference. With the ore scanner, I won't miss anything either. Well, as long as I use the tools correctly. There's still the option for user error. I hope they fixed the whole, like, you fell into the terrain bug that used to exist once upon a time. So I think... Oh, no, there's 2 little nuggets left. One here. And one there. And now we're clear. Oh, nope. We're not. But yeah, you can see it glowing. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're clear. We got 82 gold. And there is some oxide there. And we need more oxide because I don't want to dip into the base's oxide. Basically, the oxide in my other mining belt, we can treat as like emergency water. Or emergency like air conditioning, because you can melt oxides for air conditioning because it's an ice. There was one left? Whatever. Once I have the waspaloid glasses, yeah, that becomes easier. So, I live there, and we're looking for volatiles. I think I recall seeing volatiles this way. Oh, that's a very interesting coal. Let's get the coal, too. Because I was low on coal, and our base is low on power. Also, if you want me to add solar, we're going to need a lot of steel for that. But that would be a pretty good project as well. This was a mother load of coal. Oh, and we went far enough down that there's like oxides again. But I'm good on oxides for the moment. So I'm going to focus on coal, which there's some here somewhere. Oh, it's below me. There it is. Okay, I think that there's a nugget. Oh, there it is. All right, good enough. There might be more. Oh, it's also worth mentioning, terrain. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's airtight, right? Like, if you want to dig out a cave and slap a door on it, you can pressurize it if you want. That'd be a weird project to do, but, like, I'm just mentioning it because it's, like, possible. Cheers. Yeah, voxel's airtight. Now, I wouldn't necessarily trust it on, like, a zero-death, brutal Stationeer difficulty run, because, like, the margin of error for failure is, ouch. So this here is nitrice, or whatever it's called, which is essentially like nitrogen and NO2 ice. And the reason I'm mining it up is it would not be terrible for me to use it to supplement my coolant, because it's my coolant, you know, is kind of thin. I could use more coolant. Huh, I guess my grow light's on. I can see it from here. Okay, there is some iron and silicon or coal. Is this coal? Yeah, it's coal. That's not what I'm looking for. Looking for the red stuff. Not the green stuff. Not now. Yeah, most of my hours of, Stationeers, well, here we go. Most of my hours in Stationeer was logged years ago, so, like, things change over time, and I don't want to say with certainty when I'm not certain. Because, like, I don't want to get you guys killed. Doling bad info. But, yeah. I have made, like, cave voxel bases before. So you guys want me to add some solar power. Got it. The solar energy is really, really, really bad on this planet. But with that said, with a transformer and a bunch of panels, we can definitely supplement our base's station battery with some lovely extra solar power so that we don't have to keep topping it up on coal. And with enough panels, I could even generate a net positive amount of power, provided my consumption doesn't radically change. I was making gold, right. Oh, is that? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Well, never mind, I'm not an idiot. It hadn't melted yet. Ha-ha! That's a good, like, fail-safe, is like, I'm stupid, I just, melted my... But no, but as long as I stick it straight into the thing, it shouldn't melt on its own. And it gives me a second opportunity to remember to close the valve. I should have built it so the valve is, like, in my face, like, right next to the handle, so it's easier to be like, yo, close me. But, you know, I didn't do that. So we got a whole lot of coal in order to make steel for the solar panels. But I'll go back and finish the beacon first. And then we can go on a hunt for iron for the beacon. Or for the solar setup. But the new drill was awesome. And this is the beacon going up. So, the beacon is high wattage. And the reason I mention that is it's one of these things that, like, you're going to want to remember to switch on as you exit the base, or it's not going to help you. But, like, unless you have oodles and oodles and oodles of power, you might not want to leave it on all the time. And, let's get this network analyzer just to do some math. Well, I'm going to want the ore scanner. So, right now, my base is consuming 320 watts, and if I had the beacon on, it would double to 620. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you can keep the beacon off, keep it off. So in terms of, like, powering down the base, I could be turning off... Well, this battery charge is 5 watts. That's, like, chump change. But I could be turning off the airlock control when I leave. The IC needs to be on. Technically speaking, I could have a switch to turn off all of the IC, like one master switch, because all of this logic only really needs to be on when I'm using the water filtration system. So realistically, I could have a mega switch that turns all that logic off, because that logic, it's not super power hungry, but it does add up. So we got the console for the turbo pump at 50 watts, the grow light logic at 10, 10, 10, and then the grow light at 70, and then all the other individual logic pieces that aren't memory, because memory is free, at 10 apiece. So calculating the total power cost to essentially my turbo, my coolant not freezing logic is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's almost 100 watts. It's 90 watts of power. It's not a lot, but it's not nothing when you're, like, have no solar panels. And the amount of power that a solar generates on Mimas is, like, pretty sucky, but you get enough of them and you can start not worrying less about the constant need to drill for coal. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I've got 13 cables, so that should be enough to install this beacon. And my food and water is, like, topped up enough that it's fine. So what I'll do is install the beacon out here, and then I'll just have to remember to switch it on whenever I'm like... Oh, crap, yeah. Oh, hold on, shut up, suit. Shut up, suit. I'm fine. She's like, you're killing yourself. So I'm going to stick the beacon... This is going to be annoying, but I'm going to stick the beacon right here in the middle of my path so I see it. A visible, because I'm really bad at remembering to turn these things on. So this is just like human error, if you will. But if it's blocking me, my chances of remembering to turn it on like increases to hopefully a little or something. I don't know. But the beacon goes on, and then as you'll see, it's a 300 watt beacon. So I'm at 620 usage because the beacon is 300 watts. The benefit of the beacon, if we stick the tracker, hold on, I have too many things open. If we stick the tracker in, as long as my, as long as I have some battery power for like the tablet, which I can pull from like drills or angle grinders or whatever, it will point where home is. So I can't get lost. Awesome. Alright. So now that the beacon's in, current priority right now is to add solar to the base. And in order to do that, I'm standing here, so I'll shut this off. I don't need heavy solar panels. Heavy solar panels are storm resistant. There's no atmosphere here, so there's no issue with storm damage. So I'm just going to want the typical solar panel kits. So in terms of power generation that exists in the game, there are wind generators, which only work if you're in atmosphere. Mostly if you're on Lulan or whatever it's called, which is like a fake Earth that has real atmosphere. Mars has a little bit of atmosphere, and then Venus has atmosphere. A thick atmosphere. Vulcan has atmosphere. So if you're on a vacuum satellite like I am, atmosphere ain't gonna do nothing for you because, wind power can't work. It won't operate here. You have solar, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, my world that I'm on is like the dimmest as far as solar goes too. So its wind power is 0, and its solar power is minimal. But, solar's still free, even if it's minimal. Where is... I guess the wikis doesn't have this. Okay, the wiki apparently has no notion of of the moon I'm on. My point being, the other method of generation would be solid, which I've been using, and that gets annoying to have to constantly mine up coal all the time. And then Stirling and gas. Gas generators could work, but they have the same fundamental flaw as a solid generator, which is I need to then supply it gas. So there's a constant regular input. Now the gas generators are more efficient than the solar power, or the solid, in that just a little trickle of gas will generate a lot of power. But it still requires constant input. And I want to not have to maintain inputs. I want to set up some panels, have the panel generation exceed the amount of power I use, so that I'm not constantly being like, oh crap, I'm out of power. So that's kind of the goal. And then the other one is Stirling generators. And Stirling generators, again, they generate power from a temperature differential within the Stirling generator, which is hot, to the external temperature of the Stirling generator, which would hypothetically be cold. In order to run a Stirling generator in this base, I would need an incredible amount of air conditioning for this base, which is possible given that I'm in vacuum. I could use, vacuum radiators like this one, but it would require a lot of setup, which, again, solar's just a little bit easier. And then on top of that, the Stirling generator requires a gas input, just like gas generators do. It's just hot gas versus gas generators is combustible gas. And am I missing any other power generators? I think that's it. I think. Because there's transmitters and receivers for like microwave power and omni power. So omni power allows you to have like wireless batteries, and the microwave power transmitters allows you to send power between distant things. So you don't have to run like a long, ridiculous cable from like base 1 to base 2, which is really helpful when you're doing like remote mining and things like that, but it doesn't make sense for me at all. Yeah, I think that is all. Well, searching power is not going to actually tell me all the things that generate power. Yeah, I think I covered it. So, there is no nuclear. Yeah, currently the only use for uranium is it outgasses to pollutant, and that's all it does. So it's if you want pollutant, you can smelt uranium into pollutant. Even nuclear batteries don't require uranium. So if we search nuclear batteries, the materials that a nuclear battery needs is steel, Inconel, and astroloy. Doesn't even require uranium, because Inconel and astroloy are not made from uranium. So nuclear batteries are just big super batteries. They're not actually nuclear at all. All right, we're after. While the sun's up, I might as well just stop sitting on my porch. I forgot my beacon. See, I told you, I suck at it. I suck at beacons. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon, one time only. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I am not, however, looking for feedback. I asked for no backseating for the series, and also, because this streamed one time only, feedback wouldn't be able to be incorporated anyway. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com also has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that made it all the way to the credits. So thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Stationeers.